What up, YouTube? Knowledge of self-determination. So this is Barbershop Conversations YouTube page. Um Now this video was in response to a video that he had done almost a day ago about why black people should not boycott the NFL. Now I respect Fred from Barbershop Conversations. I got much respect for the brother. He's well educated, very intelligent. He's an entrepreneur. I have nothing but love and respect for that brother, man. Um, However, I completely disagree with him on his stance. He believes that, and here's the video right here, why blacks shouldn't boycott the NFL. Now he's under the mindset that the players are the ones who should lead the charge, and I say negative to that. And the reason why I am down on that is because why should we, as the viewing audience, the public, the body of black people, always have to wait for someone else to lead the charge for us? That's just like asking us to not let our voices be heard in the political arena. Just let the politicians do it first. Because here's the thing, they never get it done. Do you honestly think 77% of the NFL, which is black, and I forgot the number that he said for the NBA, it was like 85% or something like that of the NFL. But just speaking on the NFL, 77%, I believe, 70 to 77% of the NFL is black. Black players, black talent, right? That is an overwhelming majority of the NFL is black, so far as the talent is concerned. This doesn't even include staff and coaches and all of that, right? Why should we wait for people who, these people, a lot of these dudes aren't even supporting Colin Kaepernick right now. If we wait for them to stand up tomorrow, tomorrow will never come. No, we need to boycott the NFL. Black people, we have over $1 trillion worth of disposable income in this country. If we stop supporting the NFL and other racist organizations in this country, they will feel that pinch. They will feel that. Us not supporting the NFL because of their treatment of Colin Kaepernick, the treatment of black people, period, in the NFL. And I have to ask one question. Why should we support an organization that doesn't even allow us to be an owner in the team? Or an owner of a team, I should say. They don't even allow black people to own NFL teams. Don't even allow them to. Why should we continue to support the NFL? Why should we continue to watch the NFL? Why should we? Why should we? Now, I don't know as much. I don't know that much about what professional athletes are allowed or are not allowed to do. However, it has been implied, or at least this is what I picked up on, that they can't use their wealth, their riches, to do anything to benefit black people. Now, that I don't know to what extent or to what degree that is true, and I know the majority of black athletes always retire broke. That is something that is factual. Majority of black athletes always retire with nothing, or they shortly become broke after retiring. But here's my thing: we watch TV, right? We watch the games. We buy tickets to the games. We buy apparel, jerseys. We talk about it. We blog about it. We dedicate YouTube channels to talking about this. Black people in the black community raise their children. Basically, it's a form of recruitment for the NFL. We raise our children from day one to be good at a sport for the potential of possibly becoming an NFL superstar or NBA superstar. We are breeding our children to be what this racist organization wants them to be for the promise of millions of dollars that they're not guaranteed to retire with. This is what we do as black people. Why aren't we having our children focus their attention on, if we started having our kids focus their attention on becoming engineers, doctors, lawyers, politicians, teachers, things that actual police officers, firemen, things that make a difference in the community, as opposed to playing games and sports for a living. Something that you have, and the odds of getting drafted into the NBA are almost the same as actually winning the lottery. You have a better chance of being struck by lightning than you do of becoming an NFL superstar. So no, I believe that any revolution should be of the people, by the people, from the people, and for the people. You understand? Colin Kaepernick has put his career in jeopardy, on the line, to stand up for the people that are being murdered by cops. He did that. As the people, we should respond in kind and tell the NFL that they're not getting another dollar from us until they start to listen to our demands and treat our players with more respect. I do not disagree with Fred on a lot of things, but with this one, I totally disagree. I disagree with him on his opinion that this generation, the millennial generation, isn't as prone to racism as the generation before. Those of us that came up in the 90s, the 80s and the 90s. I totally disagree. There has been an uptick in white supremacist action ever since Obama became president. There's been an uptick in that. In fact, I would say that it probably is a little bit greater because the white supremacy has always existed. But not until the 2000s have you heard so many white people being comfortable, or white supremacists, I should say, being comfortable with overtly spewing out their racist rhetoric, killing innocent black people, not just cops. We have a president who ran on a platform of taking America back to Jim Crow. I don't think the racism has been as in your face. Now, I don't think there's ever been a time where it was more in your face, just on a regular, average, everyday, you know what I'm saying, level. The white supremacy has always existed, and I believe the intensity of it has always been the same. But we're seeing more now than we've ever seen. I don't recall, politicians saying racist things in the public arena in the 90s. Teachers, principals, and things like that. Black politicians receiving death threats and nooses in the mail and things like that. These things have happened. Yeah, I'm sure they have happened, but has it ever been as overtly done? Maybe in the 60s, 70s, and the 50s during the Jim Crow era, it was overtly done. Maybe even a little bit in the 90s, but I disagree with him on that. I disagree. But anyway, keeping it back to football, I disagree with his position on black people not boycotting the NFL. Why not? Why not? Why not? The only time we've ever gotten the white masses to listen to us is when we affected their money. Martin Luther King's bus boycott and sit-ins and restaurant sit-ins and things like that brought attention to the issue because they were losing money. And they brought attention to the issue. Us not supporting the NFL, I believe, will have the same effect. There are 1,000,001 other things that black people can do than wasting their lives away in front of a fucking TV set on Sundays watching football. Or Mondays, or Wednesdays, or whenever the fuck football comes on now. Because I've been boycotting the NFL for years, and I will continue to until we get black owners. Boycotting the NFL for one player, that's fine. I understand the necessity for that, and I'm on board with that. But my boycott goes a little bit deeper than just one player. It goes way deeper than just one player. We are the talent, black people. Yes, I agree that the players should stand up, but let's think about that for a second. And history tells us that professional athletes who are making millions of dollars are not going to sacrifice their millions of dollars to fight for a black cause. They're more likely to coon for that paycheck than they are to stand up like men and fight for that cause. Look at Michael Vick. Doing the same, whatever he can to stay in the good graces of the NFL so he can get a job. And I'm not mad at that brother wanting to be employed. I'm not mad at that. But what I am upset about is that we are not, as people, gearing ourselves to start up our own league, to get away from the NFL, start up our own businesses. These guys, these professional athletes, they are what probably would have been considered our warrior class if we were still in Africa. They're the biggest and strongest of us and most athletic of us. These dudes can do amazing things in their respective sports. Now imagine if they applied these skills to other ventures. You know, imagine if they applied this athleticism, this strength, and this agility to protecting the black people instead of making wealthy white men and women even more wealthy. Boycott the NFL. Boycott the NFL. My boycott has been going on for years, and it will continue to. There are no black owners, which means that the NFL isn't for me because they don't allow anybody like me to have any control in the league. The NFL isn't for me. It's for white people. And I hate to say that, but it is. They don't allow you to have any control, any voice, or any say-so in this, but you're the majority of the talent. It's not for me. Sorry, it's not for me. And I can live the rest of my life and not watch football ever again because it does nothing to benefit my life whatsoever. And not watching it doesn't take away anything from my life at all either. Not at all. I played the game all my life. I know how to play the game. I'd rather go out there and play the game myself than watch somebody, some millionaire, you know, do it on the field while some white man's behind him cracking that fucking whip, telling him what he can and can't say, what he can and can't do, where he can and can't live, who he can and cannot associate with. Sorry, Fred, I disagree with you, man. This revolution, this upheaval needs to be led charged by the people because the athletes aren't going to get in line. They'll only get in line when their money starts to be affected. That's the only way they'll get in line. Look at how much support Colin Kaepernick is getting right now. A couple of players here and there. Look at all the black people in the public eye that are actually speaking out against what Kaepernick is doing. I mean, come on. Jason Whitlock, Marcellus Wiley. I mean, look at Stephen A. Smith. He constantly shuffling ball chain shuffle. He's constantly saw shoeing. So no, I disagree, Fred. I disagree with you on that, bro. I believe that the people need to stand up. We need to take our control and our power back. Or rather, we need to create a system where our power, our voices, and our control is heard and respected. And the only way we're going to get respect is stop kowtowing and bowing down to fucking white supremacist systems and organizations. We need to stop doing that. No, don't continue to watch the NFL and support the NFL when they don't give our people what they deserve and what they've earned. No, you don't do that. Don't continue to support a league that doesn't allow people that look like you to be owners in that league. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. Don't support a league that will take a retired quarterback and hire him in place of an active quarterback who probably is given and taking who it is you talk this to is at least a top 20 quarterback in NFL. Meaning Colin Kaepernick, whose accomplishments outweigh Jay Cutler's accomplishments in the NFL. They would rather hire that dude who's been benched, hasn't played in the NFL in a couple years, I believe, over Colin Kaepernick. Seriously. The black players aren't advocating for Colin Kaepernick. So they're not going to stand up and boycott the NFL because these dudes don't know how to make a dollar outside of the NFL if they do that. Because if they did, most of them wouldn't be in the fucking NFL right now. And this is just my personal opinion. If they knew something about business, anyway, I'm not going to get into that because I don't know what these brothers know or what they don't know. You understand what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, no. Like every revolution that black people have started, it always started with the masses, with the people. We don't need anybody to lead us. That's the problem with black people, in my opinion. We're constantly waiting for somebody else to fucking save our asses. Stop waiting for other people to save you and save yourself. We don't need these dudes to stand up and say what the hell we've already been saying on YouTube and other social media. We don't need them for that, man. We really don't. We need to stand strong and come together as a single cohesive unit. Us, the quote-unquote regular people. That's what we need to do. Not waiting for other people to grab us by the hand and lead the charge for us. We all need to be leaders in our own right. I'm not for that. I'm not for that, man. I'm sorry. I'm not with that, man, at all. I'm not with that at all. Waiting for the NFL players to wake up one day and say, you know what? We should boycott the NFL too. I'm not waiting around for that, man. I'm not waiting around for that. Because black people who are getting their palms greased are less likely to stand up and risk losing that money to fight for what's right. Look at history. Look at history. These dudes will go on a strike if they want a higher wage, if they want more money. Sure, they'll go on strike for that, but they won't go on strike because of police brutality against black people or unfair treatment against black players. When has that ever happened? Maybe I'm stuck on stupid when it comes to that one, and something happened that I wasn't aware of. But please, if that's ever happened, please let me know, because I don't recall anybody ever talking about a time when black athletes boycotted any professional sports organization because of the mistreatment of black people. I've never heard of it. So why would anything change now? The players aren't showing us that they are willing to do that now. So why should we wait for them to do something that they've never shown us that they have the nuts, the gall, the audacity to actually do? Why should we wait for them? Why? Why should we wait for politicians to tell us who to vote for when we can go out and we can research these candidates and vote for the people who best serve our interests? Instead of waiting for somebody else to lead you in that direction, you lead yourself. Us waiting for other people to stand up for us to do what we can do ourselves hasn't gotten us anywhere, except Donald Trump as president, more black people being murdered by cops, and Donald Trump and Jeff Sessions and the rest of his appointees rewriting American law so that it benefits a certain shade of people and discriminates continuously against a certain other shade of people. Sorry, I just can't. I can't support that message, Fred. I'm sorry, man. I totally disagree with you. No, we need to continue to boycott. We don't need them to lead us. They need us to lead them. They need us to lead them. I'm sorry. They're the players, but you dudes ain't standing up enough. You dudes aren't letting your nuts swing. You dudes aren't being the men that a lot of black people, a lot of black kids look up to and think you are. Because you're big, strong, and fast doesn't mean that you're the same mentally or spiritually. If you're into that whole spiritual shit, it doesn't mean that at all. Being physically strong and mentally strong are not two things that are mutually exclusive. You don't need one to have the other. You really don't. Martin Luther King wasn't a 6'3", 250-pound Goliath, astonishing athlete, but mentally strong, he moved nations. You understand what I'm saying? His words still reverberate through time as we speak. And he was not a physically imposing individual whatsoever. He was an average, everyday man who said enough is a fucking enough. That's it. That's it. I do agree with him on Fred Hampton. Man was assassinated well before his time. That was a great loss to the black community. But again, another man who was mentally strong. He wasn't the biggest and most strongest and athletic guy, and he didn't need to be because his words spoke power. The strength of his mind is what captivated people. We don't need these dudes to stand up and hold our fucking hands and lead us through the valley of the shadow of death. We can do that ourselves. We're strong individually. We're overwhelmingly powerful when we're together, and we don't need somebody else to stand up and say for us what we can say for ourselves. And I really want to drive that point home. We don't need the NFL players to lead the charge. If we wait for them, we'll be waiting for fucking ever. Because I'm telling you right now, like a lot of these dudes are doing, putting their head in the fucking sand and waiting for it to blow over. The majority of these dudes are doing that right now. How many NFL players, if you polled them today, how many NFL players are actually coming out and saying anything? Less than 1%. Up that 77%, less than 1% of 100% of that 77% are saying anything or doing anything about this particular situation with Colin Kaepernick. So no, Fred, I disagree with you, bro. I disagree with you wholeheartedly. We need to stop waiting. We need to stop waiting. And we need to take the bull by the fucking horn like many of the brothers in the LDBC, Barbershop, Well, yeah, you're all for, well, actually not for boycotting the NFL, but Town Biz, Ticket, the 1LVZ, they took their trip up to the league office. You know, I think 7A supports that, and all the other brothers in the LDBC support the boycotting of the NFL. Don't sit around on your hands waiting for somebody else to stand up and speak for you. You stand up and speak for you. You believe that what the NFL is doing is wrong to Colin Kaepernick and black players altogether, then stand up and fight for that shit. Stand up and fight. Don't take the passive approach and wait for somebody else to stand up first. No, you see that shit, you say some shit. And that's all I got on this one, guys. I'm out.